Okay, welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into a stack of source material you sent us, all focused on something really powerful, rewriting your own personal story and actually taking control of your destiny.
Right, and the core text we're looking at today, it's called Master Your Destiny, a practical guide to rewrite your story and become the person you want to be. It's noted as the fourth book in this mastery series.
Yeah, I saw that. And our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward.
Hmm.
We want to pull out the absolute key insights from the specific source. We want to help you quickly get what this material says about, how these stories we tell ourselves get built up.
Exactly, and how they might be holding us back, maybe without us even realizing it.
And most importantly, the practical steps. What does the book say we can do to create a more empowering story, to actually consciously move toward the future we want?
Yeah, we'll be unpacking some pretty fundamental ideas here, things like how our thoughts and um, our environment shape these
The
narratives.
impact of beliefs, too, right? That
Yeah.
seems big.
Huge. Beliefs, why taking action is just non-negotiable, and then tools like self-talk and visualization, how they can become, real allies in this.
And just a reminder, this whole deep dive, it's built just for you. Everything we talk about is coming straight from this material you shared. Think of it as your shortcut to the core ideas.
Your highlight reel, maybe?
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this.
All right. So, starting at beginning, how do these personal stories, these narratives we live by, how do they actually get created in the first place?
The material frames them as these loops, right? The things we keep telling ourselves about who we are and how the world works.
Yeah, the internal script. And it breaks down the factors. It's not random. A huge piece is just our thinking.
Right. The book points out that distortions in our thinking are a major cause of negative emotions. We
Right.
basically tell ourselves stories that aren't even true.
Like those classic ones, I won't be happy until X, or why does this always happen to me, or even worse, I'm a failure. Just straight up negative labels.
And those aren't facts. They're interpretations, stories we build from distorted thoughts. And they directly lead to feeling bad.
Exactly. But it's not purely internal. The material really emphasizes the role of our environment.
Hmm.
All the information we soak up, conversations, things we see, good experiences, bad ones, that becomes the raw data for our mental model of reality.
It's like the book says, we start out as a blank canvas. Our first beliefs, the foundations of our story, they're almost entirely shaped by what we're exposed to growing up.
And that exposure isn't always, shall we say, accurate or helpful. The source lists a bunch of ways external stuff can lead to these inaccurate, disempowering stories.
Like what kind of ways?
Well, we can twist facts to fit what we already think, or I totally misinterpret events. We might make bad assumptions because we don't have all the info.
Letting emotions run the show.
Totally. Letting emotions cloud judgment, accepting lies society tells us, letting other people dictate what we're capable of.
And even lying to ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Chasing things that don't really matter to us deep down.
that's a big one. All these things can build a story that feels incredibly real, but it's fundamentally flawed, and, crucially, it holds us back. It becomes a self-fulfilling trap.
Wow. Okay, that paints a picture of how easily these narratives get skewed.
Right. But here's the key, the really interesting part from the book. Your story isn't fixed. It's actually always changing.
It just feels fixed.
Yeah, because we get stuck thinking the same thoughts over and over, like a mental habit. But the liberating idea here is if you consciously change your thoughts,
You change your feelings and actions.
exactly. And that's the engine for creating a better story. It's an active process.
Which leads straight into a really powerful question the source wants us to ask ourselves. Whose story are you actually living right now?
Yeah, it quotes Grant Cardone, who puts it very bluntly. Basically, you're either living to achieve your own dreams or you're being used to help someone else achieve theirs.
That's a stark choice. And it loops back to the environment point, doesn't it? The people around you have a massive influence on the story you end up adopting.
Absolutely. Positive people can inspire you, lift you up. Negative people, as the book says, can really drag you down, poison your narrative.
It also mentions that people around us are constantly writing their story about us, based on what we say, do, and how they interpret it all.
Right, and the material suggests that maybe a lot of our goals and beliefs aren't even truly ours. We might be chasing things just for approval or because they look good from the outside, not because they align with who we are.
Which is why that call to be the hero of your story is so central in the book. It's a direct challenge. Don't let the outside world write your script.
Yeah, it paints this picture of many people just becoming followers, sort of drifting, letting the world decide their path, losing their own agency.
It even uses those stats like 70% of Americans not enthusiastic about work, or so few having basic emergency savings, to argue that becoming a statistic happens when you don't take ownership of your narrative.
Exactly. To avoid that, the book argues you have to step up. You have to be the protagonist, the hero of your own life.
Okay, so if you're going to write a new story, the source says first, you need to get real about the one you're currently living. You need to evaluate it.
Right. And it gives 4 criteria for that evaluation. First is your level of excitement.
Like, are you actually excited to wake up? Or is it more like
Numb.
lagging drive?
Yeah. Excitement suggests you're on the right track. Lack of motivation probably means your current story isn't serving you well.
Makes sense. What's the second one?
Your level of fulfillment. Are you genuinely happy deep down? Or just pretending? Feeling at peace generally means a good story. Feeling unhappy often points to disempowering beliefs blocking you.
Okay. Excitement, fulfillment, what else?
Level of growth. The book frames this as a dichotomy. You're either growing or you're decaying.
Ooh, stark again.
It is. Growth means learning, facing fears, taking on challenges. That builds self-esteem, happiness. Stagnation, avoiding challenges, leads to feeling unfulfilled, low self-worth. So, are you actively growing?
That's a direct question to ask. And the fourth?
Level of alignment. Are you living true to yourself, honoring your values, your unique gifts, your personality? The book warns that living out of alignment feels empty even if things look successful on the outside.
So find what makes you come alive and do more of it.
That's the advice. Identify it and intentionally lean into it.
That's a really clear framework for assessing things. So once you've done that honest check-in, the book says the next step is actually uncovering and writing down your current story.
Yeah, breaking it down by life area, career, family, money, health, relationships, personal growth, spirituality.
And for each area, digging into the narratives. What's your real relationship with, say, your career? How do you actually see work? What feelings come up most? Excitement, dread, obligation.
And then trying to crystallize it. Can you summarize your current story for that area in just one sentence that forces you to get clear?
And then the crucial follow-up, what would a better story look like? A really empowering one for you. How could you rewrite that one-sentence summary to make it feel like a 10 out of 10?
The book is a great personal example from the author about their career story. It started with this belief, influenced by a boss, that work just isn't meant to be enjoyed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which led to frustration. For a while, their summary was basically, it's okay not to like my job if it pays well.
Tolerating it.
Exactly. But the empowering story they consciously shifted to was something like, my career is a way to express my talents and make a difference. I seek to enjoy my work. If I don't, I figure out the misalignment and act.
That's a total transformation in perspective and intention. And the book points out some really common limiting stories many of us carry, right?
Yeah.
Like that basic negative self-talk, I'm a loser, I'm a failure.
Yeah, or that belief you have to sacrifice everything for work, or letting pride lead you to make bad assumptions.
The not good enough story gets a lot of attention too. The book says it's incredibly widespread, even among people who look super successful, that whole imposter syndrome thing.
Oh, yeah. And it shares some amazing anecdotes, like Neil Gaiman meeting Neil Armstrong.
The first man on the moon.
Right. Gaiman felt like a total imposter at this event full of accomplished people, only for Armstrong to confide that he felt the same way, like he just went where he was sent.
That's incredible. If you felt like that.
It really puts it in perspective. The book also mentions actresses like Jodie Foster apparently thinking her Oscar was a fluke, or Meryl Streep questioning why people want to see her act.
It shows how deep that feeling can run, regardless of external validation. The book suggests it often comes from lack of experience in a specific area or just focusing too much on mistakes.
Yeah, or comparing yourself constantly. Another big limiting story discussed is the I don't have enough narrative.
Ah, the endless chase. Nicer car, bigger house, keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly. And the source makes the point that true fulfillment rarely comes from just acquiring stuff. There's that concept, hedonic adaptation.
Where the buzz wears off really quickly.
Right, so you need the next thing just to feel okay again. The book acknowledges wanting more can be a motivator, but it's a problem when it stems from feeling fundamentally lacking or unworthy inside.
The author also gets personal, sharing their own limiting beliefs that caused anxiety, like needing more money to feel okay, or needing retirement to be free, or feeling unqualified.
And then contrast them with the empowering beliefs they consciously chose to adopt instead, like choosing to feel good now, enjoying life and work, focusing on strengths. And they point out how illogical those initial fears often were.
That's key. They're often not rational. And the book directly calls out mistake #3, letting your past define your future.
Right. It argues strongly that you are not your history. You can absolutely change your destiny by choosing new beliefs and taking different actions, starting right now.
Okay, so we're building this new, empowering story. What are the essential ingredients? What does the book say it needs?
First off, strong beliefs. The material actually calls believing a skill, something you can develop, and it follows certain principles.
Interesting. Okay, strong beliefs. What else?
An inspiring vision. It's really hard to be motivated if you don't have a clear picture of what you want life to look like, say, 5 years out, and a strong why behind it.
Got to have that destination in mind.
Absolutely. Third, strong core values. Knowing what truly matters to you, your non-negotiables. This guides your decisions so you act in alignment. If freedom is key, a super rigid job might not work, right? Recognizing that helps.
Alignment again. Makes sense.
Fourth is effective reframing, which we'll dig into more later. Basically, using powerful ways of looking at things to stay positive and see more possibilities.
Okay.
And fifth, which also gets its own deep dive later, is having a supportive environment. Can't underestimate that one.
Right, so the book uses this cool analogy next. Creating your avatar and filling the gap.
Yeah, like thinking of yourself as the hero in your own video game. You get to design your avatar strengths, weaknesses, the quests you take on.
And you choose the difficulty level, right? Play it safe, or level up and face the dragons, the fear.
Exactly. It puts the power firmly back in your hands. You decide what to focus on, what strengths to build, which fears to conquer, which beliefs to keep or ditch.
So the gap is just the difference between who you are now and who this ideal avatar, this future self is.
Precisely. And seeing that gap clearly shows you exactly what character traits, skills, or mindset shifts you need to work on to actually become that person and live that new story.
A big part of that work, according to the book, involves changing your relationship with your past.
This is huge. You can't change what happened, obviously, but the book is clear. You can change which memories you give energy to, and crucially, how you interpret them now.
It points out that memory is biased by our current story. Pessimists remember the bad stuff, optimists the good. So by shifting focus, you can kind of build a better past in your mind right now.
Yeah, it's about actively curating your internal history. The book offers practical techniques for this. One is consciously celebrating your accomplishment.
Like actually writing them down.
Yes, exams passed, jobs landed, fears faced, anything. Build a long list. Make it tangible proof of your capabilities. Consciously revisiting joyful moments instead of dwelling on the negative. Dwelling gives past negativity power today. Refusing to dwell starves it. Think about people who hold grudges versus those who move on.
That takes practice, I bet.
Definitely. Another practice is focusing on what you did well. The book suggests that daily, what 3 things went well today? Exercise. Doing that consistently retrains your brain to look for the positive, changing your overall interpretation over time.
Instead of just focusing on what went wrong.
Right. And also acknowledging your positive intentions from the past. Instead of just labeling something a failure, ask, what was I trying to do? What did I learn? And crucially, what empowering meaning serves me now? Your past isn't a life sentence.
That's a powerful reframe in itself.
Also, remembering times you showed courage. Recalling moments you faced fear proves you have that capacity, which boosts confidence for future challenges. List those moments, too.
And it suggests feeling proud for helping others. How does that fit?
It combats feelings of insignificance. It highlights your own power to make a positive impact, often starting with mastering your own mind so you can help others effectively.
Okay. And finally, expressing gratitude for supportive people.
Yes. Shifts focus from resentment to connection. Parents, friends, teachers, even kind strangers. Make gratitude a regular thing, maybe part of a morning routine.
That's a really comprehensive toolkit for dealing with the past differently. And building on that, the book talks specifically about reframing past events.
Yeah, this is about actively choosing an empowering meaning for something that happened, a meaning that helps you today.
We often default to negative frames because of assumptions, right?
Exactly. The book hammers this. Avoid assumptions. They distort reality. Separate the raw facts from your interpretation. I lost my job fact. I'll never find another one. Interpretation based on fear and assumption.
The book uses that Viktor Frankl example, doesn't it? From man's search for meaning.
It does. Reframing the horrific loss of his wife as the suffering she was spared by dying first. That chosen meaning gave his own immense suffering purpose and helped him cope.
Just incredibly powerful. So the technique is asking different questions about past difficulties.
Right. What good came from this? What lessons were learned? How is this necessary for building my character? The core idea. Suffering often stems from our interpretation, not the event itself.
Okay, reframing is powerful mental work. But the book quickly emphasizes that changing your story isn't just mental. It absolutely requires changing your actions. Now, in the present.
Yes, this is a critical point. Thinking alone isn't enough. It can lead to just spinning your wheels, ruminating, or getting stuck in planning mode. The book says knowledge not acted upon is, for the most part, useless.
Ouch. But probably true.
Action is presented as the simple antidote to many problems, and failing to act is often a direct cause of negative feelings, guilt, frustration, feeling powerless.
And taking action has concrete benefits according to the source.
Two big ones mentioned. First, it cures fears. Just doing the scary thing often shrinks the fear down to size.
Proves the monster wasn't so big after all.
Exactly. Second, it fundamentally changes your model of reality. Taking on challenges redefines what you believe you're capable of. Like the public speaking example, terrified beginner becomes confident speaker through practice, completely changing their self-belief.
And that ties into the present moment focus. You only have today, right?
Right. This very moment is the only place you can act. Dwelling on the past or excessively worrying about the future is, as the book suggests, kind of disrespecting the day you actually have.
So identify small things you can do today.
Yeah, things that guarantee a good day for you. The author mentions reading, writing, learning, walking, talking to a friend, specific, doable actions.
Okay, action is key, but living that news story also really depends on optimizing your environment. The book sounds pretty uncompromising on this.
It is. It basically says it's incredibly hard, maybe impossible to grow if you're stuck in a negative environment. It kills potential, drains motivation. The line that stands out is, your environment is often more powerful than your willpower.
Wow. More powerful than willpower.
Yeah. So the advice is blunt. Do whatever it takes to change it. Move. Cut ties with persistently negative people. Protect your growth.
So how do you build a supportive environment then? What are the steps?
Well, first, as mentioned, minimize or remove the negative influences. That might mean tough conversations or decisions.
Necessary, though, it sounds like.
Second, actively seek out and join groups of people who get it. People on the same path or further ahead, entrepreneurs, writers, fitness groups, whatever fits your story.
The authors shared examples of this working.
Yeah, connecting with writers led to an editor, other opportunities. Attending events or buying courses just for the community access led to valuable encounters, mindset shifts.
There.
Look for a mentor. The book calls this a major accelerator. Guidance, mindset shifts, network access, avoiding pitfalls.
Mentors can be hard to find sometimes.
True. Which leads to the fourth point. Networking. Framed more as making genuine friends and connections for the long term. Build relationships before you need them. Give first.
And fifth, hiring a coach. Often easier than finding a mentor, and the financial investment creates accountability that skin in the game.
Sixth is cultivating a strong mental environment. Constantly feeding your mind positive, useful stuff. Educational audio, inspirational books, like that Steve Pavlina example, using commute time.
Feed the mind. And finally,
optimize your physical environment. Make good habits easy, bad habits hard. Small changes to your space can make a big difference. Set yourself up for success.
this ties into the next section in the book on models of reality and subjective reality. These sound like deeper ways of thinking that support the new story.
They are. Subjective reality is this idea that your external world is largely a projection of your internal state. Your thoughts, feelings, beliefs create your experience.
So embracing that means reclaiming inner power.
That's the idea. The book encourages experimenting with it, asking, what change in me would improve my world? What can I do inside to shift my outer experience?
But it acknowledges external changes take time.
Oh, yeah. It's repeated thoughts plus consistent action that eventually shift circumstances, not just wishing.
And it comes back to that idea of separating facts from interpretation. Suffering comes from the meaning we add.
Right. Accept the objective facts, then focus energy on action or acceptance, not on fighting your own negative interpretation.
The book also mentions a love versus fear model.
Yeah, just observing. Are my actions coming from a place of love-giving, creating, expressing, or from fear scarcity, needing validation, protecting myself? Most of us bounce between them. It quotes Jim Carrey, choose love.
Okay, so to really be the hero, the book emphasizes cultivating powerful beliefs and actively challenging the limiting ones.
Absolutely foundational. Adopting rock-solid, empowering beliefs is key. Again, believing is presented as a skill.
And it happens through repetition. That neurons that wire together fire together idea.
Yeah. Exactly. Repeated thoughts carve deep pathways. Worrying about money instantly triggers fear because that pathway is strong. New, empowering thoughts need repetition to build their own pathways.
And beliefs aren't always rational, right? Like millionaires fearing poverty.
Perfect example. Or resentment lasting years because you keep replaying the negative event, reinforcing that belief and feeling.
So how do you actively weaken those limiting beliefs? The book gives specific questions.
Yes, key questions. First, is this belief absolutely true? Usually, no. Find arguments against it. What would it take to believe the opposite?
Okay, question its absolute truth.
Second, is this belief true all the time? Rarely. Find past examples where it wasn't true for you. What can you do now to actively challenge it?
Look for the exceptions. Got it.
Third, is this belief true under every circumstance? Probably not. It might apply in one area but not others. Maybe you feel inadequate at work but confident as a parent. Leverage that confidence. The book notes feeling not good enough often just means lack of experience or focusing on mistakes in that specific area.
So compartmentalize less, leverage strengths more.
And look for case studies. People who defied similar beliefs. Like that woman writing 26 novels in a year despite having no time. Proof it's possible.
Find inspiration and proof, and then actively replace the old belief.
Yes, using positive affirmations. Repeat them daily. Build those new neural pathways consciously.
This leads right into the need for implementing rock-solid habits, because beliefs without action are just thoughts.
Exactly. The book says it clearly. What you do every day determines where your avatar will end up. Consistency is the superpower. Think Michael Phelps training daily for years.
And habits can build almost anything. Confidence, creativity, gratitude.
That's the argument. They're the building blocks. The book highlights a few key daily habits: setting goals, 3 to 5 tasks, consuming motivational content like audiobooks, Zig Ziglar's daily bath idea for motivation, and exercise. Walking is highly recommended for overall health, and you can combine it with audio.
These aren't just about getting stuff done, are they? It's about managing your state.
Precisely. These habits improve your emotional state, giving you the fuel, the energy, the resilience to actually make the bigger, harder changes your new story requires.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
The book also dives deep into using self-talk to change your story. How powerful that inner voice is.
Immensely powerful. It literally determines if you're the hero or the victim in your own head. Your words shape your reality. Think Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, they used self-talk consciously.
A key part of this is talking with compassion, especially when things go wrong.
Crucial. It helps you bounce back faster. The book really pushes back against the idea that you need harsh self-criticism to stay motivated.
Talk to yourself like a friend.
Exactly. It's okay. You meant well. Keep going. It even suggests trying a 7-day self-compassion challenge just to see the difference.
Another technique mentioned is giving yourself options, not commands. Using could instead of should.
Yeah. Shoulds often carry guilt and resistance from external expectations. I should work out feels heavy. I could work out feels lighter, more like a choice, less internal friction.
And then maybe move from could to want by finding the why.
Right. Ask, why do I want this? If there's no real want, maybe the should isn't aligned with you anyway. Same with need versus want. Question those automatic needs.
The book also stresses appreciating yourself and the world through gratitude again.
Yes, that constant practice of shifting focus to the positive. Thank you for I like that. I'm grateful for. I acknowledge myself for doing X.
And celebrating accomplishments, no matter how small. Don't wait for external praise.
Be your own cheerleader. I'm proud because I did a good job with it. Build that internal validation.
And reinforcing core beliefs daily, using affirmations. It all ties together.
It does. And a huge part of self-talk is asking better questions. Stop asking disempowering questions like, why me?
Ask useful ones instead.
Exactly. How? Questions spark creativity. How can I? What if? Questions explore possibility. Focus on the positive. What if this works out fantastically? Who? Questions find support. Who can help? Where? Questions find environments. Where can I find like-minded people?
Writing them down helps.
The book suggests it does. Helps clarify thinking.
Okay, so powerful self-talk. Then the book moves to leveraging the power of visualization.
Right. Presented as a major tool used by top performers everywhere. Athletes, CEOs, turning internal vision into external reality.
And that point about worrying, just being negative visualization is brilliant.
Isn't it? We're already doing it. Just need to consciously flip the switch and use that power for what we do want.
So what are the steps for effective visualization according to the book?
First, have a crystal clear vision. Know exactly what you want. Second, you need a real desire and commitment. It's not just casual daydreaming.
Okay, clarity and commitment.
Third, and this is key, feel as if you're already there. Engage the emotions. Feel the excitement, the confidence, the peace of having achieved it. Create vivid mental movies. Assume those desired qualities are already in you.
Emotion drives action.
That's the principle. And fourth, focus on what you want often. Repetition matters. Morning, during the day, before sleep, keep that vision alive in your mind.
What if doubts creep in during visualization?
Acknowledge them, let them go without judgment, and gently refocus on the desired vision. The formula is consistent thoughts plus consistent action, new reality.
Finally, the book wraps up by emphasizing cultivating self-compassion.
Yeah. Acknowledging that life involves struggle, mistakes, self-doubt. It's universal. Even super successful people feel it back to imposter syndrome.
So the key is accepting those feelings and being kind to yourself anyway.
Exactly. The book is very firm. Refusing self-compassion means you let failures define your whole story. You get stuck there.
It's a reminder you're not alone in struggling. Give yourself a break.
Yeah, that playful, I'll beat myself up later idea. Just create some space for kindness now, and stop comparing happiness as an inside job built from your story.
And the struggle itself can be reframed.
As proof you're in the game. You're trying, you're pushing boundaries, you're embracing the challenge of writing your own story. Setbacks aren't failure, they're part of the process.
Okay, so bringing it all together, what does this all mean for someone wanting to rewrite their story?
Well, we've gone deep into the core ideas from this source. Master your destiny. Really explored the path it lays out for taking control by consciously rewriting that personal narrative.
We saw how our stories get built influenced heavily by our thoughts, our environment, how common limiting beliefs can hold us back without us realizing, and the importance of that honest self-assessment using excitement, fulfillment, growth, and alignment.
And we covered a lot of practical strategies from the book, uncovering your current story, challenging its limits, the absolute necessity of taking action now, optimizing your environment.
Shifting perspective through things like subjective reality and reframing the past, really powerful stuff.
And building those rock-solid beliefs, treating belief as a skill, using repetition, directly questioning limiting thoughts.
Plus the crucial role of daily habits, not just for productivity, but for managing your emotional state and mastering positive self-talk, especially self-compassion, asking better questions, gratitude.
And finally, using visualization, effectively making it active, emotional, consistent, and pairing it with action to bridge the gap between your inner vision and outer reality. And remembering that struggle is part of the journey and self-compassion is essential fuel.
Okay, here's a final thought for you to chew on, something that really echoes throughout this material. The source consistently suggests that our suffering often isn't caused by events themselves, but by our interpretation of those events. So if you were to truly deeply adopt that perspective, that many of your limiting beliefs might be irrational and that you genuinely have the power to choose the meaning you assign to anything that happens, how fundamentally could that single shift change the entire experience of your own story, starting right now, today?